today. So as you're jumping in, I would love to know, how does this time of day work for you? You've been wanting to hang out early all along,
Yes.
but I was kind of dragging my feet because I just like the little bit of buffer in case the kid misses the school bus or come on, moms, you know what I'm talking about. Mornings can be a little crazy, but we finally pulled the trigger and committed to this time slot to
Yes.
try out.
I like it a
So
lot better.
I do
It's
too. I like this so
early.
far.
I'm an early morning person. I like getting up, getting things going, moving with my day. And so, how is everyone doing this morning? It is Tuesday, and you said that it wasn't when I left, but you said when you left our house that you saw a couple snowflakes.
It
So
started snowing, some big fat snowflakes as I was driving in today. I wasn't expecting that.
anything can happen. It's November, right? So
Yeah.
anything goes. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel and you're watching on Facebook, go ahead, jump over to YouTube, subscribe, ring that bell, like us, follow us, and we have a lot more going on than just our Facebook. We have a community group, we have a prayer group. Susie has the pink seat for ladies. So there's a lot of different groups that you can join if you're not yet in those groups. So yeah, how was everyone's weekend this past weekend?
Yeah, what did you do this weekend? I cannot believe that we are so close to Thanksgiving. I know many of my friends are decorating for Christmas, and I saw that several of you actually put up your tree over the weekend. So I'd love to hear what your weekend looked like. Did you stay in? Did you find something to do? I really miss going to the movie theater. How about you?
Yes,
I just miss it so much. It was such a relaxing thing, and I
yeah.
love everything about it. I love the popcorn. I love the reclining seats in the movie
Yes.
theater.
Yeah.
But maybe you found something fun to do. So let us know in the comments. We had a really fun weekend, and if you caught us last week on the morning show, you saw our format was a little different because I was here in the studio and you were in Phoenix.
Yeah.
And you spent the week there for work, doing some planning and preparing and kind of praying and visioning for the week. So how did that week go for you?
Yeah, it was great. And every November, I get away for 3 or 4 days, just go, and it's really like a spiritual retreat for me, and can pray, just spend that extra time with God and just see, allow Him to speak to me. And then I begin planning and visioning, kind of where I believe God is leading us for the next year. And so I was able to go to Phoenix this past week, and I got to hang out with a really close friend of mine, a mentor, and it was great. I haven't gotten to spend a lot of time with him lately, and so it was really refreshing, refilling, energizing. It was such a great week.
And so then we decided, well, first of all, we don't normally spend a lot of money on anniversaries. We're
Yeah.
not really, we don't really even get each other anniversary gifts.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do a nice dinner. And every once in a while we're able to get away, but not, it's rare, maybe only a few times in our 17 years that we've been married.
Yeah.
But we decided for this trip, since you were already in Phoenix, to kind of splurge.
Yeah.
And I got a plane ticket and went out and joined you on Friday. And it was such a fun weekend. It was just the best. It was short. It was only a couple days, about 2.5 days we had in Phoenix, but the weather was gorgeous. It had been in the 90s there, but it cooled off tremendously, and it was in the 70s. It was beautiful. The whole weekend, we got to catch up with good friends of ours, attend a church there that we really loved, pastored by a great friend of ours, Todd Matchett.
Yeah.
So that was really fun to be able to be there and spend some time with Todd and Renee. And overall, we just hung out, just the two of us.
Yeah, it was nice. I mean, half the battle, and parents know this, is when you want to go away for just some time with your spouse. Is what do you do with the kids? and so we've been able to find a great caregiver for Brooklyn, and so that was kind of put in place, and then Pastor Jared and Brandy graciously offered to watch our older two girls. So we're like, man, we got the kids taken care of. Let's get out of here and go. And for us, it's a little harder because, we don't have family that live, close to us. So those of you that have grandparents and, family, you're blessed to have them that close. But we had a blast. It was so much fun. Just like you said, it was just for a couple days, but man, it was so nice and relaxing and just getting to hang out, just the two of us. And I loved it.
We're going to be talking today a little bit about marriage.
Yeah.
And I would love to hear, what are some things that you do for all of you married couples out there to invest into your marriage? Mm-hmm. And it really is an intentional decision that you have to make to invest. And sometimes, even for this particular trip, I went kind of back and forth because I thought, I don't know if we should spend the money on it.
Yeah.
And we did have a couple things come our way that made the trip not quite as expensive, but it's really important for us to invest in the things that matter. And that means invest with your time, but it also means investing with your resources.
Yeah.
And to kind of put it in perspective, I think about, how much money do I pour into my kids? How much money, moms, are we pouring into them, making sure they have all the things they need, but not just need, but things that they also just want, right? Mm-hmm. And when you kind of think of it in that perspective, it helps remind us and frame us that it's important for us to also invest into our marriage. So that's what we did this weekend.
Yeah.
And we had a great time. But what are you doing? Do you have any practical tips to share? What kind of things do you do as a married couple? Maybe you do a weekly date night. Maybe you try to get away once a year, just the two of you. And there are different seasons of life that those investments look different based on where you are.
Absolutely.
If you're retired, it's very different than if you have a new baby at home.
Right.
So...
And I can remember it looked different even for us when, we had young kids at home and we were, you weren't working, you were at home, and I was a youth pastor. And so, it just looks different depending upon the stage of life. But it doesn't matter what stage of life you're in, you still need to make it a priority. So...
It's hard for us to do that sometimes, especially as moms. I think you had no problem. You were like, yes, you need to come. No. The kids are going to be fine. It's not a big deal. And I was like, I don't know. I don't think it's going to work out. What are we going to do? I don't know if the Elrods will still be surviving after they have our kids for the weekend. I feel like I'm indebted to them for the rest of my life. But it's so easy for you to make that decision.
Yeah.
So I don't know, for women, maybe, I don't know, girls, am I alone in that? In your relationships? Is it harder for you to make those decisions or harder for your spouse? Let me know if I'm alone. I'm guessing that I'm not. That oftentimes it's the moms and that stinking thing we call mom guilt, which is very real.
Yeah. Well, we are just a little over...
Uh-oh, he's trying to do math in his head, guys.
It's not working well.
9 days.
9
days. To Thanksgiving?
Yes, 9 days to Thanksgiving. And man, I am ready for some turkey. I am ready for Thanksgiving. I love Thanksgiving. It's such a great day, and just to relax. What are you guys doing for Thanksgiving? Are you staying local? Are you gonna hang out with? You may or may not want to put what you're going to be doing on social media because you just never know. So if you want to keep that to yourself, I totally understand. In this world that we're living in, you don't want anybody, police knocking on your door. I don't really think that's going to happen.
That's not going to happen. No.
But man, I'm excited, and
me too.
I don't know.
We love Thanksgiving in our house. I'm not ready yet. I haven't really prepared the menu, but we pretty much have the same things every year. Mm-hmm. But there's still a little bit of prep work that goes into it. But I do feel like this fall is just rushing by us. And thank you, girls, who are just commenting and letting me know that I am not alone. One of my great friends, Care, just reminded me it's grace over guilt. So true. That's something we talk about all the time at the Pink Seat. So thank you for that reminder. And we do need to have grace with ourselves for sure.
Oh, that's cool. Tina DeRosia, she just posted that her going to her daughter's and she is cooking Thanksgiving for the first time. Do you remember when you cooked Thanksgiving for the first time?
Nope.
You don't remember?
I don't remember. Was I stressed out? I probably was.
Yeah.
I don't get too stressed out about that, but I'll tell you what did stress me out is the first time for Christmas that I was in charge of cooking the prime rib, because that is an expensive, a turkey, a $15, $20 turkey. All right. Not so much pressure, but a prime rib, that stressed me out a little bit. I still
and too, because that's like really one of my family's traditions.
Yes.
Because we would go back. This went back to I think my teenage years, and my mom's watching. She can maybe post of when the first time was. But we decided that even in Canada, that Thanksgiving, which is in October, is just too close to have turkey again, and Christmas. We want something different. It's Jesus' birthday. We're gonna up the ante a little bit, and my mom and my parents decided we're gonna have prime rib at Christmas time, and man, I was all for it. And so my mom, cooked it a bunch of different ways, but we always had prime rib at roasted, some kind of prime rib at Christmas.
Yeah.
And so we'd go to my parents when we were first married, but that first time that we had my parents to my house, and like you said, you were responsible for cooking. I remember days before you were stressed, I don't want to mess it up.
And making sure I knew, because there's so many different ways to do it. There's one that you turn the oven on and put it in the oven and then turn the oven off for hours, but you just cannot open the oven. I've never tried that method, but I want to. But I did remember, as you were speaking, your parents actually bought the prime rib because we couldn't even afford to pay for it. So they bought it, and so there was even more pressure. Yes, I do remember one year having your parents over to our home, and your uncle and aunt were over.
Yeah.
And everything for the dinner turned out great, except my potatoes. I made some kind of a homemade potato dish, and I can't remember if they were shredded or sliced. But do you remember?
No, I don't remember.
It wasn't super like the Hulk green, but they turned slightly green in the baking dish. So I think it was something with the metal reacting when I either sliced or grated them. And I just did not say anything about it. You know what I should have done?
This was supposed to be. So.
I should have put some green food coloring in there and been like, my tradition is to have green potatoes. But Pam said she has an amazing primer recipe. So you're going to have to share that with me.
We talked about maybe smoking it this year.
No.
No, okay. Guess not.
No way.
Teresa said that her husband cooks Thanksgiving as always.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not down with that.
Lucky you.
I'll grill, but and smoke meat, but that's about as far as my cooking goes.
And I'm all right with that
too.
So it all works out.
Mm-hmm.
So we typically do a verse of the day, but we're changing just a little part of our show. And instead of verse of the day, we're going to have something every week we call the Marriage Minute. And if you are not married, we don't want you to click away because we want to invest into your future marriage as well. And it's something that we can all learn and become more equipped to be better.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Marriage is difficult, and I think that's...
Oh, is it, honey? Tell me how difficult marriage is.
It didn't matter how I started this sentence off, or it was good.
Tell me why it's so hard.
I think anytime you put two people inside of more than one person inside of a house, and all relationships, they take work.
They do take work.
And I think sometimes we get this idea that everybody else has this perfect idea or this perfect marriage, or it's so easy to look at other people and think, man, they have this, their relationship just looks so great from the outside, and it's easy to make things look good from the outside, isn't it? It's so easy to, throw something up on Instagram to, like family photos, like, oh, look at that beautiful family photo that they posted, and you didn't see the other 10 where the kids were crying and fighting and pulling their hair, and, the dog was running around. Like, you don't see all of that stuff. You just see the nice picture perfect. And so, one of the things that Susie and I really value is just being real, and that, hey, life is tough, and you know what, we have a strong marriage and a great marriage, but it doesn't mean that, we never fight, we never argue, that, that we don't lose our tempers, that we don't, we want to be real with you, and hopefully you can learn from, our successes and learn from our mistakes, because we make plenty of them.
Yeah, so a great example of that is just over this past weekend that we were celebrating our 17th wedding anniversary. If you're just coming on, we were just sharing about how we intentionally made the decision to invest of our time, to invest in our resources, and to get away for a few days. And really, those 3 days that we were together in Phoenix, they were as pretty picture perfect as you can get. Yeah. I mean, we just truly had the best time. I think we both were so good at being considerate of each other and what each other wanted to do, and taking that into account. It was kind of fun because the time change in Phoenix is that we were 2 hours earlier. So if we slept in our time till 8 o'clock, it was actually only 6 in Phoenix. So we would sleep in until we just woke up around 8:30, get up, go for breakfast, be done, and it would be 9 a.m. and we'd still have the whole entire day ahead of us. And so those few days were kind of magical, don't you think?
Yeah,
they were so fun.
It was great. It was really only 2.5 days, but it felt so, and I think because we got up early and the time change that, I'd been there a little bit longer, but, still it takes weeks for your body really to adjust.
Right.
And so we were up early and breakfast and, ready to go, and it's like 9 a.m. And so those days felt long and in a good way. Like, we had so much time together.
Yeah, so if you had taken a snapshot of us during those 2.5 days together, you would have thought, oh my goodness, they are perfect for each other. They have such an incredible relationship, an incredible marriage, hashtag relationship goals. But all of that flipped on its head on Monday when we were at the airport to come back home. And I don't know if it was the reality setting in that we were leaving our little utopia and going back home to face reality and challenges. Not that we don't love our lives, we do. But, vacation has to come to an end. And if you had taken a snapshot of us at 6 o'clock in the morning at the airport, you would have thought, I'm going to have to pray hard for these two because they are not going to make it. You guys, it was a rough day. And did you notice? So we were sitting in row and, the little airport seats waiting at the gate, and we were having a pretty big argument. And I am a little more private when we're arguing, but you have to just talk about it right then and there. It does not matter who is around. Yeah. It does not matter where we are. We can be in the office at church, and if there's a personal argument we're going through, you're going to talk about it. You don't care who's there. Whereas I'm like, so-and-so is in the office right next door. You don't care. You're just who you are.
I'm like, this is who I am. This is, so pray for our staff. But it doesn't happen that often.
It's
but
rare,
it's just, I like to deal with things right then, there. Let's, deal with it, talk with it, get over and move on.
Right. So there were people sitting directly behind us. Did you hear the couple behind us?
No.
Okay, because you were very focused on what was happening between the two of us. But I know the couple that were sitting back to back behind us could hear our argument because one of them started singing, "Can You Feel the Love Tonight?"
Are you kidding me?
They were singing it kind of softly, but like loud enough that we could hear it in response to the argument. I was so mad at you. I actually got up and moved so we weren't even sitting next to each other in the seat. And I think that's when they started.
After our romantic weekend getaway.
I think that's when they started singing Can You Feel the Love Tonight? And it kind of ticked me off. Like I wanted to turn around and be like, you need to stop right now.
It's probably a good thing I didn't hear it.
Either our fight wouldn't have been the only one at the airport gate. But here's what I want to say about that argument. We have resolved it, and we love each other once again. We loved each other even through it. Right. Well, there was one moment I will have to admit at the gate that I did not love you, but for most of the day I loved you. But this is what I'm kind of embarrassed to say, is that it was the argument that kept on giving. And we tried to settle it several times throughout the day and could not. And we did not get it resolved until about 10 o'clock last night. So some days are like that. Yeah. Some conversations are like that. And I'm a prideful person. I'll let you decide whether or not what you want to say about yourself. But I know my pride gets in the way, my hurt feelings get in the way, and my perspective, because we can just be blinded and we don't see the truth. We don't see the situation. We can't see it from that 30,000 point view. You know, when you're in the airplane and you see New York and you see the different plots of land and the farm, the fields and the farms and the rivers and the hills, and it all looks so beautiful. But when you are stuck in the middle of the mud, you are not seeing any of the beauty. And so those times can be very challenging, but we got through.
Yes. Yeah. And, you know, and we're both, our personalities, you know, we're both firstborn, you know, we both, you know, I mean, like you already admitted it, so I, you know, have pride, and we both think we're right to sometimes our detriment. And yesterday it was just one of those times where neither of us wanted to give an inch for a long time, and that's unusual for an argument for us to go on that long.
I think at one part I said to you, I don't know what we're going to do about this. You think you're right, and I think I'm right. And so I don't know where to go from there. Yeah. But we got kind of to the core of it and what was really going on and got through it. But what is the scripture for our marriage minute?
Well, it says in 1 Peter 1:24, it says, all people are like grass, and all their glory is like the flowers of the field. The grass withers and the flowers fall. And
it's kind of depressing.
Yeah, it is. And that's why I read that and I was like, man, that's kind of depressing. But, you know, when I was thinking about it, I'm like, you know what? Especially when when the flowers fall, it just really made me think that, you know what? We all have our bad days. We all have these moments and times where we fall, where we, you know, say things and do things. And maybe you've had those moments where, you know, things are coming out of your mouth and you're acting and saying things and you know, you're just kind of like, man, I wish I could grab those words and put them back. Or sometimes maybe you don't even realize it until minutes or hours later, and you're like, man, I messed up. You know, we fall, we make mistakes, but we need to know that you know, God cares about you, and He has a plan, and He's able to come and restore. And that's often, you know, for at least me, you know, God, you know, I kind of sometimes will, I don't know what the right term is like, you know, almost like sometimes my anger or my perspective or what I'm seeing, what I think is right, just kind of blocks out, you know, the Holy Spirit. And then, you know, as I kind of take some time, you know, just the Holy Spirit allows to show me, hey, actually, you were wrong here and here. And so it's so important to have those times to kind of reflect and settle down. And often the Holy Spirit will speak to you and let you know what you did wrong. Yeah. And that's the key is in almost every argument, not one party is 100% right and 100% wrong.
True.
And so I think we need to ask ourselves, what am I responsible for in this, you know, in your relationships? Because you can't change the other person. They need to come to that realization on their own, but you can change you and your perspective. And this is what, you know, I can do.
If there's one word I think that kind of and I was thinking about this on the drive home because we took separate vehicles, so we drove home separately.
Right.
And during that
That
drive,
probably helped.
Probably, yeah. I was praying and really asking God, what do I do with this? And I really just felt like I needed to come at it with humility. And I will tell you, I was not successful for most of the day, even after I knew that was the approach I needed to take. It was still difficult. It was still challenging. And marriage can be that. It can be, where you have to sacrifice your own flesh. You have to sacrifice your own desires and what you want, and to love and treat the other person with humility. So I think that is the first thing. But the second thing, and this we have been better at doing, and that is the scripture in the Bible that says love keeps no record of wrongs.
Yeah.
And I think it's important when we do have those tough days, where we have those tough, hopefully it's not an entire day for you. Maybe it is. Maybe it's been a week. Maybe it's been a month. Maybe it's been months that things have been building up, that we keep no record of wrongs. Yeah. And so I know that what happened with this, argument and conflict yesterday is not going to be brought up and thrown in my face the next time we argue, and vice versa.
Yeah.
And that makes a difference, right?
Yes. Yeah. So that's our Marriage Minute for this week, and I hope you got something out of it. If nothing else, a good laugh. So we are, like I said, 9 days away from Thanksgiving, so we're going to move into our trivia game.
You're obsessed with presidential trivia questions.
I know.
They're all about presidents.
I didn't even realize that.
Which is funny because you're Canadian.
I know.
But, so the trivia question today, and before we go, do you want to tell them how they will respond with their answer? So
you have a chance to win a $5 Dunkin' gift card. And the way you win this prize is to be the first to text the answer to the question. And that number is 315-506-4506.
Right.
So I think you just posted it in the comments.
I posted it in the comments on my page if you're watching on my page.
Oh.
If you want to do it for yours. So I'll give you a second. What is your favorite thing? This isn't the trivia question. But what is your favorite thing to make or eat on Thanksgiving? Do you have a family dish that is maybe just unique to you? Or what is your favorite food item? What is yours?
Like for Thanksgiving?
Yeah. So you can't say prime rib.
I think it's the stuffing.
Oh.
Your stuffing is amazing. Yeah,
I have a really good slow cooker stuffing recipe, which is nice because it doesn't take up the oven. Oh. But we have a favorite thing in my family as a child growing up was egg noodles. We would have egg noodles with chicken broth and kind of be like a thick sauce, and so we make that every year. But so what is the trivia question for today?
All right. Susie gave you a little hint. It does have to do with the president. Which president made Thanksgiving a national holiday?
Okay. Which president made Thanksgiving a declared Thanksgiving to be a national holiday for the first time in the U.S.?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
So not the first time it's celebrated, or who made it a national holiday? Say, bam, it's a holiday. You don't have to go to work. I don't know if they said that, but it was a national holiday. So
all right. So
go ahead.
Probably an early president.
Yes.
We've had Thanksgiving for a lot
of
years in this country. So if you have a guess, go ahead and text that to us. Brandy said her favorite Thanksgiving dish is green bean casserole. I love that too. So we're spending Thanksgiving with the Elrod. So Brandy, you're going to have to make sure you make that, or one of us will. We'll figure it out. So our favorite things today is brought to you by me once again, because apparently I have a lot more favorite things than you do.
Yes. I'm a little more simpler.
Yeah. All right. So this is kind of random, guys, but I was at Target a few weeks ago in the first aid section, and I saw the most adorable line of Band-Aids that I have ever seen. Now, they're not actually Band-Aids because Band-Aid is a brand. I know that. So bandages. But they're by this company called Welly. And they had a ton of different, I'm going to put this up. I feel like I'm doing a commercial. They had a ton of different packages. So I actually bought a bigger package too to keep at home in our medicine cabinet. But if you have young kids, they had the cutest. They had narwhals and rainbows. And I only have girls. I'm sure they had cute boy ones too. This one is just a little one that you keep in your purse. It's this little tin by Welly, Welly. And when you open it up, they had different packages you could choose from. This one has Band-Aids in it and a little antibiotic ointment in it. But here's the thing. The Band-Aid designs are so cute. This one is blue and white stripes. There's red, and then there's this little dark blue. I picked these because they're a little more grown up. My kids are getting older, so they don't want princess Band-Aids anymore. But see, don't you just want to get a scratch now so you can? Yeah. I can give you one of these Band-Aids.
Awesome, I love it.
And I like that it's not in a cardboard box; it's in a metal.
Yeah.
You really don't care about this one tiny bit. I can tell.
Sorry, I'm trying.
There's even little hearts. Can you see that? Like little "I love you" first aid hearts on the bottom. All right. So that.
Do we have a winner yet?
I don't think so.
No.
Oh yes, we do. So the winner for this week's trivia question is Dory. Dory, you got it right.
Good job,
you were the
Dory.
first one with the right answer, and the right answer is da-da-da-da.
Abraham Lincoln.
Abraham Lincoln.
Good job. We will text you that gift card so you can get a Dunkin' latte on us. So awesome. Man, we've had a busy week, or even last couple weeks, and kind of our local events that we want to talk about actually has to do with our church. And we're right now kind of in the middle of our MV Cares outreach, and we collect Thanksgiving meals, Operation Christmas Child boxes. But last night, we started distributing the MV Cares Thanksgiving meals. So thank you so much for those that brought in a Thanksgiving meal. And then we've started distributing them, handing them out last night to families in need. And so thank you, but let everyone know where they're going tonight to distribute.
So tonight we will be distributing at Quinn Park, and we have a number of volunteers that signed up to help for that. And it is just such a fulfilling thing to be able to provide a family with a Thanksgiving meal. We have these great butterball turkeys and the groceries that our church families have brought in. So we're excited about that. Also, we are preparing for Jingle Jam.
Yes.
And Jingle Jam is a Christmas event that we started last year. We're doing again this year. We're expanding it, and we are actually having a total of 6 showings, but 4 showings for our community that you can get tickets for. So if you have not gotten a ticket yet for Jingle Jam, especially if you are a family with children, you want to make sure you do that. You can do that at our website, mohawkvalley.church. Yesterday, we delivered 1,400 postcard invitations to kids in our local school districts, and our tickets are selling out quickly. So
one of the things I'm really excited about this year that we're doing for Jingle Jam is on Saturday, December the 5th, we're doing a matinee show just for families that have either kids or even adults in your family with special needs. And so this is going to be a great performance and show. We're going to, make things as comfortable for them as we can. We have ramps. We have a handicapped entrance, sliding door. I'm trying to think of the name. I couldn't think of it. And we're going to have the volume a little bit lower. We're not going to have all the lights going on and off. We'll have them set and just try to make it as comfortable for you or your family member who has special needs. And so it's going to be great. So if you know of someone that, has a family with someone who has special needs, man, this is going to be for you. Let them know. You do need to register though. And so Saturday, December the 5th at 2 p.m. So make sure go to our website and go ahead and register. We have a Facebook event as well, and it will take you to Eventbrite, and you're able to register. Again, the tickets are free, but you do need a ticket to get in the door.
We're also starting a brand new series. Well, actually, it kicked off this past weekend.
Yes.
While we were away. Pastor Jared did a phenomenal job launching our new series happening right here at MV Church called Thanks and Giving. And we're talking about how a heart of thankfulness leads to a generous spirit of giving. And so if you are local, we invite you to come hang out with us at church. We have 3 weekend services, Thursday night at 7 p.m. and then Sunday morning at 9:30 and 11 a.m. All 3 services are the same, so you can pick whichever one fits your schedule. Or if you are not local, we invite you to watch online Sunday mornings every week at 11 a.m.
Well, this is all we have for Mornings with Mike and Susie this morning. We hope you guys have a great week. We'll see you this week.